Good morning. I thought the easiest way to show you how I bet and what my target per bet is would be to make a video. I had this I had this spreadsheet compiled at quite a cost, as you can imagine. I know how to study horses, but I'm useless at this sort of thing in Excel. But that said, this spreadsheet is worth everything to me, as it makes my life so easy when it comes to winning my 5 to 10% of betting bank per wager. Now, let me take you through the menu and make it easy for you to understand as I go along, okay? Right, here, for instance, we've got bet stakes to win, profit target 10%, okay? This 5 here is also the percentage that Betfair charges. Okay, so it'll take the 5% off. Now, combined odds. Now, I mentioned combined odds on my first day, and this would be like if it's any less than 130, then it becomes a 5% bet, not a 10% bet. Okay. Now, sorry, that's what this 5% means. Okay, so let's go through it. These are true bets. These are bets. Now you'll notice I've got here bank 200. Now I've changed that for this actual tutorial. My bank is not 200. Okay, this is just if you start with a 200 and you were using this software, this is how it would look. Okay, now with the 5% taken off, what we're looking for is a profit of 10% per double bet. Okay, this is a double bet, 2-horse bet, and I want to return myself 10% of my running total of my bank. Okay, the running total is 0 here, but it's here. This is the bank. Now, as you can see, the odds on the first race was Kempton 3:45, and it was Salutee and Madahim. Okay, or Medahim. So it was the odds were 310 and 1150. Now when it wins, that's all I do is put a 1 in. If it loses, I don't put anything in. I could put a 0, but I don't. I just leave it for I know which ones have won because it's got a 1 in it. Okay. Now the target for this was £10 because if you look over here, the combined odds were 2.44. Okay, these two combined made a combined odd of 244, which is more than 130, so we're going for 10%. Now you'll see what I mean in a minute when I come to the next one. Okay, so anyway, horse 1, the stakes were 10.93, 2.95. That's what 310 and 11. That's the stakes that the spreadsheet tells me I've got to put on, which I did. I put them on, and if the first horse won, I would have got the £20 less the 5%, which brings it to 19, as you can see here, net profit. Okay, the second horse won, and it brought me in 30.93, which less the 10.93 brought me in £19. Okay, now the total of that running total was £19 profit. That gets added onto the bank, and it becomes 219. Okay, my outlay was 10.93 and 2.95, and that was the outlay over here. And it tells me again over here, this is for the graph that's on the right hand side, and this tells me that it was the total of that first bet was £19, and that goes on to the graph. If you're not interested in the graph, that makes no difference. This is purely to show you what happens. Okay, so let's now go down to the next race. Was that the 7th? The next one was 8th. I can't go too far. Let me just show it here. Let's come down here gently. There you go. So the second race that I sent out was Newcastle 12:40, Waiting Patiently, and Forest Behind. Waiting Patiently won. Now you'll see why this has got 5% here, and this is what this 5% does here. Okay, so we got the 10% and the 5%. Now so that means that the the combined odds must be less than 130. So let's have a look over here. Actually, it was 130, which means 130 or less. And it changed to 5%. So it was 5% of my bet. So then stakes were 25.62, 11.08. The Waiting Patiently won, and we got a profit of 29.40. Add that 29.40 onto the 219, which is here, and we get 229. Sorry, 29.40. Running total that was. I'm sorry. The profit we got was 10.40. That's the 11.08 from the 22.03. 10.40 profit. Then it became 229.40. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, that's the second bet. Now we go down further, and this is where this software is fantastic. The next bet was Warwick at 12.20, Tyrrell and Spader. The odds were 1.88 and 5.4. which was a combined odds of 1.39, which now meant we're going for 10% of the total. Now the total was 229, so the 10% we want is about 22.9. After tax, after the 5%, I mean tax no, 5% yes. After the 5%, it left us with a profit of 21.79. That gets added onto the running total and becomes 200. Now my total is 251.20. Then I make my next bet. On the 9th of December, the next bet came in. It was Doncaster 13.05, Might Bite, and Premier Bond. 1.88 and 5.40. Combined total of 1.39, which is again more than 130, so we're going for 10%. 10% of 251 is 25.10. After 5%, the win was 23.86. Add the 23.86 to the 251, it brought the total up to 275. This, and as you can see over here, this outlay for that bet was 63.67, which is 47.22, 16.44. Might Bite 1. That's great, so we got our profit, and the profit, as I said, is 41.56 less the 16.44 loss on Premier Bond, and that was 23.86 after 5%, added on 275. I don't need to go any further, but I'll just show you. I'll come down and down, and let's come down. You can just look at this bank, how it's growing to 414. You can pause this and you can take a look at what I've been doing and how many that wins. It's going up and up and up and up and up. 785. I did have one loss. We were very lucky yesterday having two, but I had one loss. If you look at these totals, these are all horses I sent out to BTW, and these are the way the totals are going. Look, 2,800, 3,000. Then we had a loss. We had a loss here, Chepstow and Lebanon Money, but I didn't have, if you look here, 1.52. So I was going for 10%. Now 10%. Now remember, we're betting with £3,000. The bank has raised from 200 to 3,090. So therefore, for 10% is 309. You're going for a lot of money. Now you're going for a lot of money. So the one that lost was, I'm not even showing you the one that lost. Let's go down one more. That's it. That's the one that lost. Chepstow, 1,400 lost. And the combined total of the bet was 595.29. So 595.29 came off the 3,000 and left us with 2,500. So brought the bank down, So anyway, as you can see, it starts to build up again from there, and then we had another loss here. So it builds up from there. Let's have a look, and then we had another loss. I'm not sure where it is. Well, anyway, that's enough for you to be watching. I've already been 10 minutes into this, but this shows you how lucrative betting like this does. Looking for 10% if the combined bets are more than 1.3, and looking for 5% if the bets are below 1.3 or 1.3 or below. Now on my this here, see this part here, this 5 here, I can actually change this 5 here. So if I put 2 in there, anything below 1.3, now watch the difference. Where's the big one? Let me go back to the big one, the big bet. Let's have a look. It's at lost. There it is, I think. Yeah, that's the big bet that lost. Now, as you can see, no, that's no good because it's 1.52. I would still have lost on that bet, but there's nothing else there that I can show you apart from this one is 5. If I change that to 2, this will be 2%, and our outlay will drop. Watch the outlay on the stakes on this when I cut away. Right. See, that's 5. That's 5%. I've got the wrong one. I don't change it, so maybe it's this one, 2%. Now watch this here, change and bring the. That means you're only going for 2%, mind. So watch this now. There you go. You see, so the targets come down. So you could, on this, what I use, I can change this to only wanting 2% on under 1.3, which means any time there's an odds-on favourite, instead of going for 5%, I go for 2. But I mean, I go for 5 because I know that most of my, well, over 90% of my selections win. So I go for the 5%. I don't mind the odd loss at 5% if it goes wrong. So I'll leave that at 5. I've got it back now, so that's no problem. And I call it a day with this. I think good enough. There's 12 minutes, 13 minutes of video here for you to watch.